baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see, we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, Boosie, I'm a Midwest king. Looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The Mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet and I need some seconds. You say you have promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it, that shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see your swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you know the mission. I had to know you, I'm tempted. I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me. I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my play ways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and then I'll give you all that I got. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me.
Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you. Like if I went versus you, which we're live right now, just to give you a heads up, we're live right now. If I were to play you in MLB The Show, I'd probably get knocked out the show. And my boy Lemon as well. He's also another person that I know that plays MLB The Show. Man, y'all would give me that Apollo kind of thing, you know, that like umbrella, you know, wrap around the neck and just yank me off the stage, man. Y'all have me all fucked up. What up, Hustle and Motivate, Tony's channel. Welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming here with you on the TSWS Gaming channel on YouTube. I see y'all on the channel. I already shouted out Tony and Hustle and Motivate, but what up, Dre Watson? I see you pulling up, and I'm sure there's going to be some more people pulling up here shortly. Really good to have you guys here today. I got Rome Go Large here with me today to chop it up, talk about that game in history. He got his Browns hat on. You know what? Before we get into gaming, I got a quick question to ask you real quick. How are you feeling? And this has nothing to do with gaming, so I got to get it out the way. How you feel about Deshaun Watson being there and Baker Mayfield over there in LA making things happen?
You know what?
I seen you on Twitter mad sometimes with Brissett.
Greatness flashes of Baker. So that stuff, I got to see consistency for me to be mad at Baker Mayfield. Like right now, that's cool. But if he like say he next year he stays starter and he tears it up over there in LA, I'm gonna be in my feels. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But right now I'm cool. It's cool right now because it's still early. Still early.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, what he did when he got to LA in like what that 24 hours or 48 hours or whatnot of being the leading quarter. That shit was wild.
That was their final drive. That is the flash of greatness that we seen from Baker Mayfield when he was in Cleveland. And that is the type of stuff that ripped Cleveland apart, because you had people holding on to that Baker Mayfield, and it was people like me that was holding on to the trash Baker Mayfield. So Cleveland was ripped in half, man. I was fighting people left and right at work, Facebook, everywhere. You thought it was bad on Twitter with me, man. It was just as bad everywhere else when it came.
He said IRL. It was bad.
Yeah.
But what was it? Man, that last drive though, that was very John Elway like.
Yeah, it was.
That shit was wild. The only thing that was missing was what was the run to the end zone and getting clapped.
Right.
Exactly. But anyways, let's go on ahead and get into it. Rome, sure. I'm definitely happy and excited to have you here. I appreciate you, brother. Go on ahead and let everybody know, first and foremost, where they can find you on your social media wise, gaming wise, however you want people to be able to contact you. Go on ahead and let them know right here.
Oh, for sure. So first and foremost, YouTube. So that's mainly where I be at, YouTube and Twitter. Twitter, my handle was Rome Go Large, but everybody call me Rome. So that's all it is. And then like I said on Facebook, I mean not Facebook. I'm hardly on there. On Twitter is Rome Go Large, and then my YouTube is, you can find me as Rome Go Large, because they gave us handles now on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so
you can add people and shit now.
Right? Yeah, you can add people. Yep, exactly. Yep. That's dope.
That's what's up, man. What's been going on with you? What you been playing? I already know, bro, that you've been messing with that PS5, though, because I mean that's, we got a lot to talk about there. But anyways, what you been playing, brother? What's been going on with you?
So mainly, I've been messing with a little God of War, but I've been on Guardians of the Galaxy. I know that's pretty old, but I never got to the end of that one, so I'm working on finishing that one, and then I'm playing a little God of War and a little bit of Horizon Forbidden West. So I know it's crazy because I'm bouncing around a lot, but I'm kind of weird like that when it comes to gaming. Like I would play with this, put that down, play with that until I get to the end of it. And a lot of times it take me a minute to get to the end of the games because I'm playing multiple at once. I'm also playing Luigi's Mansion on the Switch. So
let's go.
Yeah. Add me on the Switch too. I don't know that long ass number, but I'll put it in my Twitter.
Fair enough. So yeah, you got a lot of things jumping off right now. That's how I game, really. I'm playing Need for Speed right now, Skyrim, Ape Escape on the PlayStation on the PlayStation Plus Premium. I've been playing NCAA Football 13. Prototype. Let's see. What's that game with what's his name? Geralt? The Witcher.
The Witcher.
Yeah. The Witcher. Eternal Darkness on my GameCube.
Yeah.
When you talk about balancing multiple games at once, I mean, hi, how you doing?
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one to do it. Because people like, man, how do you do that? And I'm like, man, I don't know. I just been like that since I was a kid. I just do it like that. And then my friends come over all the time, and I'm always busting his ass in Madden. So throw that in there too. So it's a little bit of that too.
Speaking of busting ass, I've been playing some 2K23, and I've been balling on my career, or whatever you say, like the parks.
Okay.
And I made my dude because I suck at the game. I'm not good. But if you give me I'm just like any other noob, you give me that interior though, I'll lock it down. Oh yeah, man. My dude's 7 foot tall with a 7'5" wingspan, bro. Like all I gotta do is anchor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's all I really gotta do. But I try not to just do that because that's kind of just cheap. So I run around and do my thing, and block shots, stand and dunk is on 99. I can't be stopped down there. But yeah, my player is only like an 87. So I mean, I still be getting yammed on and shit. It ain't good all the time. It ain't good all the time, especially if somebody about my size, I'm in trouble. but yeah, I've been balling on that game a little bit as well. It's been pretty fun. But anyways, let's get into the show. Let's get into the details. Let's see, how you became a gamer and whatnot, because that's what I'm curious about. That's what I want to know. So for anybody that has that's wondering on any kind of backstory, I actually hit up Rome to be on this show. The way I had met Rome was in the midst of arguing about Xbox, because he likes his PlayStation, he likes to talk his stuff. And when I was newer to Twitter, I'd say 2020, early 2020. I've seen all these people talking stuff about, Xbox, and I'm gonna go ahead and shout those boys out. So like Persona, Jay Bari, definitely Optimus Code. Rest in peace to that brother. Good dude. I actually ended up being in a space with him and actually talking to him and finding out he was one of the people that taught me, you can talk shit in these gaming spaces, because I'm so used to like face-to-face talking shit with my family and whatnot. So I'm used to talking shit. It doesn't get me offended, but I get riled up and I want to talk shit right back. Right. But I didn't know how to go about it. So when I went into Optimus Code space, we were talking some trash, but before the end of the conversation, before he released me, he pretty much was like, yo, bro, I hope everything goes good with your channel. I know you're trying to do something. This is all just gaming and whatnot, and I'm here to listen to your opinions. That's why I added you up here, and I didn't start attacking you. And I was just like, man, this dude's talking to me like a father at first is what I was thinking of. And like a little bit of like that sideways, like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? And then it kind of dawned on me a little bit later that, he was just trying to tell me that, it just is what it is. He's gonna hype up what he's gonna hype up. You can hype up what you gonna hype up, but there ain't no reason to like feel personal about it. So later on, I ended up running into Rome. He was talking some stuff on Xbox, and I had to hop in and say my piece on it. And we got it, and somebody else, even like a third party, jumped in and started helping Rome. And I'm just like, I'm fighting for my life down here. But by the end of the conversation, it was all cool, because we were just like, ain't nobody. What I was kind of saying to the third party person was like, ain't no need to be personal or whatnot. And by the end of that conversation, me and the dude that was kind of getting personal, he ended up following me. He ended up actually subscribing to my channel, which was pretty dope, because because the tempers, calmed down a little bit. Everybody got on the same level, and he was like, you know what? I play Xbox. I just kind of got tired of waiting on their games and whatnot. And I was like, you know what? I get it. I get it. And then Rome was kind of there with that same sentiment and whatnot. That, I'd play it, but there ain't no games I'm interested on it. So I'm just going to sit here and keep talking my shit. And I was just like, fine, whatever. Ain't nothing I can do about that. I can't be mad at him for talking this shit, because I've done plenty of shit talking on my own. So I want to hear a little bit about, first of all, how you became the person you are today. So with the PlayStation and like Nintendo, like you are grounded with those consoles, right? Was the Nintendo the first console that you ever had? The Nintendo, the NES?
The NES would. I guess you could say that, because the Atari was my mom's, but I was always fascinated with the technology, and that's what kind of got me into gaming, was that. But it was really my love for it came with the Nintendo, the first NES. That was when it all. That's what really did it for me. Playing it was Super Mario, Mario Bros, then Super Mario Brothers, then Kung Fu. Damn, it was so many Tecmo Bowl, like all of those games. Man, that took me straight into the Sega Genesis into the Super NES. But yeah, I just wanted to get that part out of the way. I'm getting a little
Tecmo Bowl. So what you're telling me right now is you've
Mhm.
always been into football games.
Yes, I have. Yes,
Because earlier you spoke about Madden and whooping your friend's ass.
right.
Before we got onto this stream, we were talking about Game Day 98 with Jerome Bettis on the cover.
That's it.
And now you're talking about, Bo Jackson's cheating ass in
Exactly.
Tecmo.
Exactly.
So
that's where it started. Was Tecmo Bowl. That's what it all started.
Tecmo Bowl started it out, but you got to admit, Sega made it fire.
Oh, they did with Joe Montana. Oh, what? Sports talk. Oh my God.
Remember
That
Deion
was
Sanders?
legendary. Yeah.
Deion Sanders, he had that, I think it was like primetime football or something like that.
Deion Sanders primetime football. Yep.
Yep, they had ESPN Sunday Night Football with Chris Berman.
Yep.
Back in the day, you used to have the halftime shows with Chris Berman on it. And this is way before fucking 2K. This was way before 2K. So so yeah, I mean, like,
crazy.
Sega was that sports console. Remember, what was it? Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird. The Lakers versus the Bulls. Was there a Lakers versus Celtics one?
Lakers, Celtics, Bulls, Blazers. Those were the games. Yep.
Bulls, Blazers. Thank you.
Yeah, Bulls versus Blazers, Lakers versus Celtics, and then the one you just said. You just said it. I forgot. Damn, I forgot what it was, but it was the other one you said too.
Yep, and then those live games started coming out. EA was flexing.
It was
back in the Sega days. You remember that little yellow tab on the side of all the cartridges? That's how you for back in the day when you seen that little yellow tab on the side, you felt like you was getting some quality.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you're like, oh shit, let's go Road Rash. But live was big back in the day. Remember that little corner kind of shot that like just scrolled up and down the court while you're playing as your players, and you pretty much just foul the hell out of anybody to get the ball back and then go shoot corner three.
Yep. What was the name of that game? What was that, Genesis or Super NES? I know Super NES had Bill Lambier. You ever played that?
Bill Lambier Combat Basketball. Yes, I have that game.
Do you?
Yeah, I have that game. Yeah, man. I remember that joint. That joint was pretty hot. Let me see real quick.
Let me see that. I ain't seen that since I was a kid.
Yeah, here it is.
Wow, Bill Lambier.
Here you go, right there.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my shit. People hated it, but I loved it.
Man, I loved any of that combat basketball shit. Arch Rivals back in the day, and then obviously like NBA Jam, Hang Time. Yeah. I mean, combat basketball. It wasn't the first, but it definitely helped continue the kind of action basketball kind of games that were to come out later in the future. But yeah, so sports was obviously big for the consoles. They were mega heavy for me because, I mean, Nintendo, not so much, but Sega definitely. And then as I went into PlayStation and like 64 and, other Sega consoles, not the Saturn because I didn't have that when I was young, but I had a Dreamcast and whatnot. So the 2Ks were big, the Maddens were big, the college basketball back in the day. Remember the Fox Sports games and stuff like that? Those were hot. Yeah, man. I mean, shit. I used to play track and field, bruh. What's that?
You talking about for the original NES track and field?
I played the NES version. I played the track and field in the long box on the PlayStation, international track and field.
Oh, that's dope.
Bruh, that game taught me how to tap like a maniac. Nowadays, people cannot beat me in games that come to tapping really fast. They can't. They can't. They ain't got the speed fingers that us older folks from back in the day have. From you got to hurry up and power something up. You using both thumbs on one button and just tapping it stupid hard because you're getting flashbacks of track and field where it says WR, right? World record. You're trying to get that world record. so yeah, so laying people down is something that you get good at if you came from those time periods when you had to tap on controllers really fast. Beat the shit. These controllers nowadays can't handle it.
Nah. The controllers before was built like tanks. Like, these are too delicate, right?
Yeah, absolutely. My Xbox, I already busted like 3 of them things, man. They a little too delicate in my opinions, and I have voiced my opinion on it, but I'm gonna be getting a Elite controller from my wife. She said that, hey, a late Christmas gift because we spent most of our money on our daughter this year, and we got to keep the bills in order and everything. The end of the year sucks as an adult. It sucks. All this cheery music is bullshit. But yeah, so going into next year, I'm going to be getting that Elite. But we'll talk about that a little bit later because I got some PlayStation questions to be asking you here in the near future. So let's continue on with a little bit of that history. So going back to the Sega, I want you to tell me some other games that you were playing that weren't sports related type of games. The kind of things that really kind of help formulate who you are as a gamer today.
For sure. So you see what you want me to start with the Genesis, or you want me to start like where you want me to start at?
Genesis.
Yeah. So I played Michael Jackson Moonwalker was one of my favorites.
You throwing that hat.
Man, Eternal Champions, Moonwalker, Streets of Rage 1 through 3. Man, I could Sonic 1 through 3. Man, it's so many games, man. And that's crazy because as a kid, I had all of the systems, all of them. I had a Game Gear, I had all of that. So I was playing on the Sega Genesis and I was playing on the Super NES. Now, the Super NES is really where my heart was at because I was really in love with the NES at the time. Well, Nintendo at the time. They couldn't do no wrong. So the way I am about PlayStation today was how I was about Nintendo back then. So I did play a lot of Genesis, but mostly I played on Super NES. But I can't think of any other ones right at the time outside of the sports. Toe Jam and Earl, I definitely played that. Shinobi. Man, it's so many. I'm trying to
Don't forget about the Midway games, bruh.
Oh man, it had to. But you know what? I played those Midway games on this SNES.
Oh, okay.
Don't get me wrong.
So you shorted yourself on Mortal Kombat.
Huh?
Oh, so you shorted yourself.
SNES Mortal Kombat, SNES. 1, 2, and 3 was SNES Mortal Kombat. Like it was what you call it? Remember WrestleMania? The arcade game?
Yes. SNES. Yes.
Because them versions was always the better version. So I always
they looked better.
Yeah. Looked better.
They're visually better.
Yep.
And yeah, you're right. The sound in the most part was really, really good. The SNES was a fantastic console, but the thing that kind of, in my opinion, kind of held it back was it still kind of had that like kiddie aspect feeling to it.
It did, especially around the GameCube era. But like, wait, I'm trying to think because I guess it did because Genesis did have the blood on the Mortal Kombat, but on Super NES it didn't have the blood until Mortal Kombat 2 came out. Yeah, I guess it did have kiddie vibes when you think about it. Yeah, I didn't back then because I was just so biased with Nintendo. But yeah, they did have a bunch of them kiddie games. for sure. Now that I think about it.
Oh yeah, they had like Speedy Gonzalez back then. They had the Mario Paint.
Yep. Mario.
I mean, they definitely played more safe than Sega.
Yep.
Sega was outside.
Yeah.
Like they were ready to do some shit.
Yeah.
But they were both really good consoles for the time. Great battle between the two of them. And then Sega obviously went off and, you know, took some drugs and decided to build 2 or 3 attachments to their damn console, which I absolutely love. I actually have my Sega Tower Power right here with the CD Genesis 32X.
It's dope.
Yeah, man. I had to re-get that joint. I only had back then. I say had to re-get it, but really I only had the Genesis with the volume switch back in the day. And then I ended up getting the other Genesis with those 3 lines that turn red down the center. Yep. But you know, when I grew up, I was like, man, I sold all that shit. So I went and bought it back. I went and bought my 64 back, PS2, Xbox, GameCube, Dreamcast, 360. I finally got a PS3 because I never had one before. Finally got a 3DO. Never had one before. Sega Saturn. Never had one before. So, yeah, man, I had to make a come up. And I enjoy these old games sometimes better than the new games. Maybe you can feel me on that.
I do feel you on that. I still revisit my games. I still got PS1 all the way. PS5 all the way to PS1. I definitely, for sure.
All right. So I want to hear what it was like. Did you make, like, what kind of transition did you make after the Super Nintendo? Did you stay with Nintendo into the 64? Did you hop on to PlayStation at that time? Did you go into the Saturn? I mean, at that time period, there was even more directions to go than I'm currently giving you. There was more. There was the Jaguar as well that was out. The 3DO was coming out, and that was the luxury console back in that time. What was it, like $500-$600 just to cop that thing? So what was your next jump after the Super NES?
It was PlayStation. As soon as I left PlayStation, I knew
Nintendo. I knew I overtalked right there. I should have just stopped at PlayStation.
Now I will tell you, I did have a flash where I jumped onto N64, and I was like so sold on the 64, and I'm thinking like, oh, this is way better than PlayStation. Then once I had the 64 for a while, I'm like, and I went back to PlayStation. So I did have, but I was always sold on PlayStation. It was no looking back. And you know what's really got me on it? It was that you got those arcade graphics. You literally got, like, it was almost like a 1-to-1 copy. You got it at home on the PlayStation. And that's what really just blew me away. Because back in our day, you know, we was going to arcades a lot. You remember? You ever go to the arcades a lot? I know I did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I went to arcades a lot. And so when I was able to get those arcade versions back on the PlayStation, it was over from there. I was just struck. I was in love, bro. For sure.
Yeah, I was definitely at the arcade because my first thing that I went to every single time when I went to the arcade, I'd always look for a driver's seat. I didn't care what game it was. I just wanted to drive. Yeah. And I wanted it to be in manual.
Okay.
So like
the manual was way more fun than automatic.
Right, exactly. So and because of course at them times I couldn't drive. You know, right? Yeah. I couldn't drive. You know, you dropped me off at the arcade, so then I can pretend to drive. Yeah, right. I can be acting a fool on Cruising USA or Cruising World, or they had those motorcycle games that the bikes lean to the side and shit like that. Time Crisis was pretty tight too, though, back in the day with the red and blue guns. I mean, they had a bunch of them. I was more or less into the shooters, the the driving games or silly shit like shooting the basketballs. Like I like shooting the basketballs and whatnot. But yeah, man, the arcade times were dope. But you really liked PlayStation at first because of just the arcade feeling that it gave you. That's interesting.
Yep, they gave you those ports you couldn't play. You experienced them at the arcade, and that was amazing. But it hit so different when you was able to play those exact same ports on the on at home. It was crazy. It hit way different.
You know what hit? You know what made it kind of help to hit different?
What?
Because after you took that L, you didn't have to deposit.
That's it too. Yeah. Too. Hey, it's so crazy because it had the insert coin. You know how it had insert coin on the arcades?
Yeah.
They copied that onto the PlayStation. So I think it was Mortal Kombat or Tekken. I don't know which one it was, but it had the insert coin there. And that just made me fall in love with it even more. But damn, you nailed it with that.
Yeah, you have those credits on the screen. It says like 5 credits.
Yeah.
Continue. 9, 8, 7. Yeah, I remember all that shit. So I see where you're going. But obviously, you know, that hit in a way for you arcade wise. Is there any different direction that PlayStation kind of gave you that you didn't get anywhere else at that time? Because, you know, we're talking about a lot of 3D games. That was the jump from, you know, these, you know, games right here where it was like you're more or less sliding either sideways or forward and backwards in games. But PlayStation and, you know, at the time Saturn was supposed to made a lot of games where you could, you know, traverse all over the place. And the Nintendo 64 did the same thing. I mean, I know everybody's jaw was dropping when they seen Mario 64.
Yeah, that's what sold me.
The graphics, the freedom, the shit you could do in that game. So tell me about the PlayStation specifically. What kind of like opened your eyes? Because obviously arcade you're used to.
Yeah. So I think it was games like so I had Warhawk back then. I thought that was fascinating because of the I guess the polygon world that they had back then. So it was Warhawk. Damn, what others? What I can't. I would Die Hard. I had that game too. That was kind of.
You talking about Die Hard, like Die Hard trilogy thing?
That's it. That's it.
Where you're driving the cab. You got like a third person thing that you do, and I forgot what the third one was.
Yep, it was. It's been so long. And I never got that game back either. That was my game. I can't remember. Right, you're right. That was my shit.
Bro, I remember running over so many people with that cab, trying to get from A to B because the whole point is to stop a bomb from triggering downtown. And that game was wild. But let me hit the chat real quick because I respect everybody that came through here. I appreciate y'all. I see RG Viper up in the chat and Nate. Some of the things that they said. I seen something from RG Viper. Maybe you can answer this trivia question. What's crazy is I knew this because I watched a documentary on Naughty Dog not that long ago, but I don't remember this specific game. And he asked, what was the Naughty Dog game that released on the 3DO? Hint, it was a fighting game.
That's a good one. I don't know. A 3DO game that was made by Naughty Dog that was a fighting game.
Yeah, and I remember the fighting game, it had some really awkward audio in it. Like really, woo, like shit like that. Like in the game, like audio was wild. And the game was like more or less like a Mortal Kombat kind of game, but I just don't remember what it was called.
Oh, yeah, I want to know that because I don't know. That's amazing.
And then
only game that I remember back in them days was Crash Bandicoot. That's how I first heard of Naughty Dog.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I know they made a game. Yeah. I believe because that was under EA. I believe when they made that fighting game.
Oh, really? Okay.
I believe that was under EA when they made that. Like it was published by them. I know they made a previous game before that. That was like some like skiing game or something like that. But yeah. Oh, okay. So he answers the question right now. He says it was called Way of the Warrior.
Way of the Warrior. Okay.
That was
never.
And then Innate pops up and says, Rome. He's just saying what's up to you out here. And let's see. And then RG Viper has two other trivia questions as well. He says, which companies, so that might be a hint right there, allow you to transfer your arcade save to the home console?
That was the Neo Geo for sure.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I couldn't afford one, but I damn sure wanted one.
How the hell do you transfer an arcade game?
Crazy. Yeah.
How'd you do that back then?
So you could take your save from home console, and then you could take it to the arcade and pick up where you left off at the arcade.
But what's the device that you used to do this?
So it was like a memory card. It was an actual card. Look like maybe a mini cartridge or something.
Wow.
Yeah, about big as a credit card. Yep.
I would have never knew. That's dope.
Yeah, dope as hell, bro.
And hey, RG, I'm liking these trivia questions because I'm learning shit throughout it. And
right.
And that's half the reason I do this show is just to learn shit about not only the people, but about the industry and stuff like that. People, I mean, myself, Rome here, the last person I had on here, everyone has something to say to make you look at something a little bit differently. That's why, although some people say, oh, Rome's a fanboy and stuff like that, it's just like, he's gonna talk his shit and whatnot, but like he's lived long enough to do that. Like he's not just showing up on the scene with no information and saying go PlayStation. He's saying, yo, bro, I've been gaming for like 20, 30 years. I've seen the direction of shit, and I don't like that, but I like that. And I'm gonna praise that. Fuck that. And I see things differently in my own point of view. I've been playing games almost just as long, if not as long, depending on your age. I don't know specifics or all that, credential stuff, but I'm gonna have my own damn opinions, and I'm not wrong on what I say. He's not wrong on what he says. We just have our fucking opinions, and we keep it moving.
That's it. Exactly.
But anyways, Innate says, oh wait, I was reading that last RG Viper one. He says, trivia question: what was the mascot for TurboGrafx 16? The hint was Big Head. Bonk's Adventure.
But I definitely, it was Bonk, man. I used to always want one of them too. I never had a TurboGrafx until my buddy gave me one just really literally 3 months ago.
Oh, wow. So you got one now.
I got one now, yeah, but I never had one. I never had an opportunity to get one when I was a kid. But I always wanted.
See, so you living like me right now. It's like, oh man, I didn't have that. I'm copping it now. I'm copping it now. I'm seeing what the big deal was for back then. But that's awesome. But RG Viper says it was also the Nintendo Sega with F-Zero, GX and AX. So that's interesting. He said not just SNK with Neo Geo. So they had multiple.
They did. SNK was a big contributor in games with the SNES for sure. They made a lot of great games. Back then it was SNK, Hudson Soft, Konami. Those were like the biggest ones. Back in them days. I can't think of any more. EA, of course. It was a lot of them, but the big ones was Konami, SNK, Capcom back then. Yeah, SNK was huge. They brought a lot of those. What was the fighting game that was big on Neo Geo? What was it? Samurai Showdown. They brought a lot of
Okay.
those at SNES. I think the Genesis too. Yeah, and the other one too, Fatal Fury. They brought a lot of that over there to the SNES too.
You hear that, job, man? Rome sounds like a fighter out here, man. He's fighting for
I
his
love
life.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm big on a lot of genres. I play a lot of them. It's just some of them I can't touch. Like the only games I really can't really mess with is like turn-based games. Like I can't do it. You know when you
I'm
do
there
the
with you.
input? Yeah, I can't do them. But the other one I love. I play almost anything.
So you do. So I got to ask this now. I got to get this out of the way, especially since we're on the PlayStation subject right now. The original PlayStation. Did you mess with or do you like Final Fantasy at all?
Never was big on it until the PS4 when it came out with 15. I never was big on it. Everybody loved it, but I just could not because of the turn base.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Finally, I find somebody with some taste. Because everyone's like, oh man, Final Fantasy VII on the original PlayStation was the GOAT. And I was like, no.
Yeah,
No, I didn't want to touch that. Legends of Legia. I didn't want to touch none of those with a 10-foot pole. I was like, give me something where I can do something. I don't want to watch my character whoop someone's ass. I want to whoop their ass.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to select what's cool to watch. I want to do the cool shit myself.
Exactly.
So I never, not until this generation, really, did I play any turn-based games. Okay. This generation, I'm more like willing to give these like devs and publishers a chance than I ever was. But I feel like I only do that is because half of the time I'm getting this shit for free or I'm getting this shit through Game Pass or something like that. So I'm not buying shit.
Right.
I'm just like, I'll try it out since you're there. And I guess I'm in a lull and I'm kind of tired of playing NBA or something else. I'll try Persona. I actually beat Persona and that took like 150 hours. I don't think I'll ever do that again.
Did you feel burnt out after that though?
Bruh, the last fight is like an hour and a half to a 2-hour fight in the DLC of it. So when you're going versus dude named Maruki, bruh, and like I said, I beat the game. I beat the main game and I got all the way up into the very last fight on the DLC versus Maruki. And since that, I looked up that fight because I fought him for like 45 minutes to an hour. And I was like, am I doing something wrong? Because I've never had a fight take this long. I looked it up and it said, yo, bro, this is a 2-hour fight. And I was like, this game's getting deleted. I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm sorry. I can't, I cannot do turn. You can't ask me to do turn-based for 2 hours and somehow I mess up an hour into it and have to go through it all over again. And keep in mind, I'm not doing cool shit. I'm playing defense 90% of the time. I'm like, like pretty much just hiding in the corner. And then every like once in every like 5 or 6 moves, I can actually attack back. And I was just like, this game's done. I'm done. I can't do it. No, I can't. I cannot do it at all. But anyways, keeping it moving. So you said turn-based. I'm going ahead and write that down pretty much. That turn-based is not your thing. And you already listed off quite a bit of things that you really enjoyed about the PlayStation. So now I want to ask you, did you have any other consoles during that time period?
During that period, yep, I did. I actually had a N64 that time, and I still had my SNES, of course, and my Sega Genesis. But when I moved on to the next generation, that was primarily what I played most. I would always revisit, but for the most part, that was pretty much stuck on PlayStation for the most part. Yeah. And then
Okay.
what also helps is that when you have friends that's playing the same games you playing, that kind of keeps you on that console more. Yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Because you got shit to talk about.
yeah, that too. Yep, that
You got
too.
shit to talk. So like, I mean, sometimes you'd find yourself playing a game that's completely ass, just so y'all can
Yeah.
talk about it later. He's like, this dude's enjoying it, and I don't see how the hell he's enjoying this shit, but I'm gonna beat it just to show him that I ain't no bitch. So you already know how that went, but as for the next console generation, this one was probably the heaviest console generation in my opinion, in history. So you had what came out first, which was the Dreamcast. Then later down the road, the GameCube and the PS2. And then lastly, Microsoft's Xbox. What I want you to do this time around isn't exactly just talk about what you own. I want you to tell me about each console and what your initial thoughts were with each of them. And the first one, I want to start out spicy. We're going to go with Xbox first.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
What did you think about Xbox, not only when they initially announced, but when you started to see some of the people that you fuck with owning it?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
I gotta have one. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
I had one because it was amazing, bro. Amazing. Matter of fact, some of the exclusives they had for a Splinter Cell. I'm like, oh, I need that. It was not a game at that time that looked as good as Splinter Cell. That was like the best game I ever seen.
Oh, it was all about its army shit. That Xbox was all about that army shit. Shooters. Yeah. To this day, shooters.
Yeah, for sure. You know what's crazy? I never could get into Halo. And back then, Halo was like the shit. Like everybody was talking big on it. I had friends that had it. And I just could not. I even eventually ended up getting it, trying to like it. And I just could not like Halo.
I could
not like it. Yeah.
Because I wasn't, I liked Halo, but I wasn't one of those people that wanted to play Halo when I went over to somebody's house. My first game of choice back when I was young was like NFL 2K5 and Conflict Desert Storm, Vietnam, Back to Baghdad, all those joints. Fusion Frenzy was really big for me back then as well. Having the music on the console is probably the most key part. And in Halo, they didn't allow you to put any of your music into that game. So most games that didn't allow me to be able to add my music to the game, I usually didn't pick up until later in the console generation. Because I wanted to use the features. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was so ahead of its time, man. That console was so ahead of its time. It was amazing.
Okay, well, I'm surprisingly, I heard positive things about Xbox from you right there. I didn't see that coming. And see, that's why I tell people, yo, you hear these people talking they stuff, they got history with this stuff. So they've seen the ups, they've seen the downs, they've seen like the kind of boring points as well. But the next one I'm gonna hit you with is the GameCube. This is a this is a console that was looked at as very childlike, but had some sleeper hits inside the catalog. Yes. So go on ahead and tell me what you thought of that console. Same as the Xbox. Like you see people owning it. Maybe you owned it.
I did.
What were your thoughts?
Bangers. So the one that come off the top of my head that I loved was Beautiful Joe for the GameCube. That was
dude with the helmet.
Yeah. Hitching the Go-Go. Yeah, that was my shit. So it was that. I did play a lot of those Nintendo exclusives, of course, like Mario Sunshine. That was huge. I love that game. What else was there that
wasn't Luigi's Mansion first on there?
Yeah, Luigi's Mansion, but I never had that. I never played Luigi. Matter of fact, the first time I've ever played Luigi's Mansion was on my Switch. I've never played it since then. And I actually love Luigi's Mansion on the Switch. So I kind of was thinking like, man, should I get a GameCube just so I can play Luigi's the original one. That's how good it was. But yeah, I had a GameCube and I did have Beautiful Joe, and I loved those games. But it wasn't a lot because that I can remember on the GameCube that I really cared about. Besides those, a couple exclusives that I can remember. Yeah, I can. Yeah, it was. Oh, Ninja Turtles. I think that one came for the GameCube. I don't think that ever came for the PlayStation. But I did have that one. But
Did you ever play this joint?
Never played that.
Bruh. This, in my opinion, is better than all of the Resident Evils from PlayStation 2 back. Yeah. So like the original Resident Evil 2, all the PS2 ones and whatnot. Yeah. To me, that game right there smokes them all. And it's for the GameCube.
Yeah, I might have to check that on YouTube. And I'm glad you jogged my memory a bit. So I did have Resident Evil 4. I was blown away by that game. I gotta say, that was amazing. The graphics on that game was nuts on the GameCube. So yeah, I did play and Metroid Prime.
Yep, that was a big one.
Yeah.
That was a really big one. Because that was first person Samus, right?
Yep. That's what it was. Yep.
That shit's wild.
Yep.
And people are still asking for that back to this day.
Yeah, still. Did you play the latest Metroid Dread?
No, I didn't.
It's fire. It's fucking fire.
Because that's the side scroller one, right?
That is. Yep.
And you're always running from that motherfucking lizard looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
Do you kill him eventually?
You know what's funny? I'm like at the end of that game. I put in at least about 58 to 60 hours of that game, and I haven't got to the end of it. I'm actually stuck on it. But the game is amazing. I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna finish that one too.
Okay. All right. And then the next one, I'll make this interesting. Let's skip over PlayStation 2 and go to the Dreamcast.
Okay.
Where were you at on that? Did you own it? I know you had some people that you probably knew that owned it and whatnot. It was a dope console, very innovative from Sega, especially with their, past of kind of doing weird stuff. It seemed like they really put a lot of stuff together correctly for this console. It's just sad that it went out the way that it did. What did you think of the Dreamcast?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I loved it. It was a game called Power Stone. Say that? Yes, I loved it. That, of course, the 2Ks, those graphics blew my mind. What really blew my mind about the Dreamcast was going online with the damn thing. Like, that was amazing. It was dial-up, but it was so revolutionary at the time.
It actually came with it.
Yeah, it came with the modem and the phone cable.
Yeah. And a disc. For the browser.
Browser disc, yeah.
They're selling browser discs at like pawn shops and places like that now.
Really?
Like used game stores. You walk into a used game store, sometimes you'll be looking in the Dreamcast area and they'll be selling web browser discs. Because people still buy those, but you can't even use it. So I don't understand the point behind that. I'd much rather buy that old school demo disc that they had with like House of the Dead, Ready to Rumble boxing. They had a bunch of great demos on that demo disc back then, but I don't see why anybody would ever want to buy the web browser.
Right. Right. Maybe for nostalgia, maybe.
Probably to say that they got a complete console, I guess. Yep. But yeah, the Dreamcast to me was dope. I really wish that other consoles took the ability to have a screen on your controller.
That's nuts. Right?
Like the Dreamcast did, because picking your plays on the controller, seeing like the different characters in Sonic while you're playing Sonic Adventure was pretty wild. Being able to take it out of your controller and play with it like a Tamagotchi was pretty dope.
Amazing. You can stick the VMUs together. So you could take the VMUs out of the controller and then you can like plug them together and transfer.
Oh, like just flip them and plug them?
Yeah. And stick them together and transfer data between the two VMUs.
Wow. You know, you're right, because there was a transfer option on there that I never used, because I only ever usually had one VMU, and then I'd have like a separate memory card, right? But I didn't have two VMUs, so I didn't know that you could transfer those. I never tried it, seen the option on it. As a matter of fact, I still got battery power in the one I own.
Do you? Oh
I believe so. I'm actually gonna pull it out right here.
I should pull mine out. I got to dig for it, man. I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure.
You got two of them?
No, I only got one right now.
Okay.
Nope, it's dead now. I got a battery for it like a year ago. I forget how much these old Sega products sucked up batteries. Remember the Nomad and the Game Gear? Those things were battery crushes back in the day. But moving on, PlayStation 2 now. Obviously, you got a lot to say. Go on ahead and spit it.
Yeah, lots of memories from GTA, of course, to Connecticut. Man, so many. It was another one that really stuck out to me back then that I really loved. The SmackDown series was amazing. I loved that on there. Manhunt. That was my shit.
Okay. Naughty ass game.
Yeah. I was really busy that era. Yeah.
Hey, a little side note. I just wanted to shout out that generation for the creativity and inappropriateness of games that they came out during that era. I mean, we're talking about Grand Theft Auto that obviously had its, tangles. We had Scarface. The World Is Yours. That game was out of its fucking mind. On Xbox, I played it at least on Xbox. What was it? Leisure Suit Larry. That game was out of pocket. That game was out of fucking pocket. Manhunts over here getting sued. It was funny because this is like the era with like Eminem being hot and his like inappropriateness, and it felt like every game came out in the attitude of Eminem back in that time.
Remember playing the first God of War, and it was a scene where you could have sex in the scene.
The threesome.
Yeah. I'm like, they really put that in a game.
Yeah, they're out of their goddamn minds during that during that era, but I miss that. I love that. Blitz the League, breaking arms and taking roids. Sex. Lots of sex.
That was my shit.
I'm just saying that was probably the most epic time in gaming history. But yeah, moving on. So continue on what you were saying about the PS2.
Basically, those were the games that I really loved back then. I mean, it was so many of them. From Tenchu 2, I remember the first Tenchu on PlayStation, but Tenchu 2, Wrath of Heaven. Man, it was so many. You know how when there's so many, you don't know which ones to pick from? Of course, Madden Live was popping back then. Man, it was so many. I can't think of them, but one,
Spy Hunter back then, Reckless.
Yeah. Tekken, SSX series.
Ooh, yeah. Tricky was my shit.
Yeah.
That dude with the orange afro.
Yeah. Fire, bro. Fire. I still put some of those games, for some reason, you know how some of them age really bad, but those EA big games they really can you can play those like they came out yesterday. Like they
man. I mean, even their basketball and football games from back then, I can still throw on my PlayStation 2 and be content for like 3 hours playing football game.
Yep.
I still have a season that I'm going through on NCAA football 06 race for the Heisman. Yeah. I'm still playing on that. I got my own creative player and everything. I'm trying to get on that Heisman ballot. You know what I'm saying, bro? I've been rocking with my NCAA 13 a little bit more lately, trying to take my home state, Nebraska, to the national championship with RG3. Because you know how you can take the superstars and put them into the season. You got like Barry Sanders, you got him, you got Tebow on the DLC package and shit like that. Oh man, so yeah, I mean, I just like I said, I don't mind playing them old EA games. I actually prefer playing them more than the new EA game sports versions.
Right.
No, I mean, just the sports part of EA. EA outside of sports, I think, other than maybe Battlefield, has been crushing it lately.
Yeah.
So obviously, Apex has been killing it. Can't wait for the new Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Dead Space remake is about to come. I'm not that hyped for it, but I know a lot of people are in that game. I can't deny its beauty. It looks phenomenal. I just don't care to play it because I literally beat the first Dead Space for the first time like 3 months ago, and I'm just like, I'm just like, I don't need it. Now if they announce Dead Space 2, I'd buy it. I'd buy it because from what I hear from everybody, that's like critically acclaimed, the best Dead Space. I also haven't played it yet, so it'd be more appealing to me. But I see why they started out with the first one. But that only kind of tells you the direction that they're going, right? Yeah. So if they're remaking the first one, if y'all hyped about that, don't be surprised to hear 2. Of course. And then they need to they don't only need to remake, but they need to rejuvenate and remake 3 because a lot of people say 3 is where it fell hard. And I have no idea. So I'm just speaking for y'all.
Okay. You know what's funny? I've never gotten to Dead Space myself. I've missed that series, but I heard how great it was. So
it's really cool. It's really cool, but it's kind of a slow burn.
Okay.
So if you use the fast pace, I'm sorry, what?
Do it start off slow or is it slow all the way through?
It's pretty slow all the way through.
Okay.
It is very, very much a visual, just nasty kind of game. like I really enjoy it. The pace of it is right for what it is.
Okay.
It's just sometimes a little too slow for me.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it is the right pace for the game. I mean, I ain't gonna say they screwed up in that aspect. No, they nailed it. But so yeah, now we're done with that generation. The greatest generation, in my opinion. Okay. I'm curious about where things start to get spicy between 2 different console.
Boy, I was on a roller coaster that gen. I was PlayStation, but Xbox had me. I started off with Xbox and I went to PlayStation. Man, it was Xbox. I think that was the best we ever seen. Well, yeah, I would say, especially in the beginning, probably the best game wise, maybe control. Oh man, that was a hell of a gen too. To be honest with you,
I mean, it just knocked it out of the park in a lot of different directions. Like with communication, with games, with future proofing. The only thing that it really missed was what the PS3 had, which was that Blu-ray player, because the HD VD thing fucking fell off hard. Supposedly from what I heard, what's his name, King David say, is because of porn, which I believe it. I believe that. I believe it because porn pretty much tells everybody what you're watching. Where do you watch most of your stuff? Everybody's watching shit on their phones now. So guess what the highest rated thing probably is on phones. Yeah. Nasty motherfuckers. Yeah, HD DVDs went out. Blu-ray ended up being the big deal. But you said just now that you were battling back and forth with what you were gonna spend most of your time on. What is it with the Xbox in particular during this generation that had you like hook, line, and sinker sometimes?
Man, I think it was the online, to be honest with you. I think they had a feature back then, right? Where you can watch Netflix with your friends. You remember that?
Yes.
That
Yeah. It was like a
was so
movie
big.
theater, and it had you
Yeah,
guys sitting in the chairs and shit like that.
yeah. Holy shit, that was like amazing. And I mean, I can't count how many times I've watched so many movies with friends like that. Man, I remember jumping from Call of Duty on to watching a movie with the same friends I was playing Call of Duty with. Like, that's nuts. Yeah, that was a hell of a jam, man. That was a hell of a jam. I started off strong with Xbox. I would say from '06 to '09, and then I went from I came over to PlayStation. I got my PlayStation 3 in '07, but I was mainly on Xbox because most people was on Xbox. That was crazy. And then that was another thing too. I didn't connect my shit online till like 2008, 2009. So when I connected my Xbox online and PlayStation, but really the Xbox, boy, it felt like it transformed my system. It almost felt like it came alive. I can't even explain that shit. It was amazing though. It was like, what? It had like real live ads and shit. I'm like, wow, this is online was way different. It was crazy. Crazy times, bro.
Bruh, absolutely. But now on the PlayStation side, I'm kind of curious, like, what
Mhm.
kind of kept you? Because obviously it feels like, yo, Xbox, they got the scent. They know where to run. They know where to, where to be for my needs, which is awkward because last generation they seem to struggle a little bit with how to advertise, how to put themselves out there. They had to come onto the scene very much like Sega did, where it was aggressive, 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 inappropriate almost to the point where they were getting commercials canceled and whatnot. How did PlayStation keep you interested and intrigued enough to be like, Xbox, you got something, but you don't quite got me?
It was the exclusives. To be honest with you, it was those exclusives that PlayStation had. Metal Gear Solid 4 had me. You know,
Mm.
yeah, it was some other ones. I just can't think of them right now that really had me. But the one that really stuck out to me was Metal Gear Solid 4. But yeah, it was really the exclusives. Oh, God of War, of course. Uncharted, of course.
Uncharted
Those
2 is amazing. The
amazing.
first Uncharted was pretty good. Like, it was a good what I like to call like a good base,
Yeah,
like just to kind of give you an idea of what you're going to be doing in the game. But by the time
yeah.
you get to Uncharted 2, if you played Uncharted 1, you feel like I've been here before.
Right.
I can smell what the rock is cooking. I'm good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so you run up in that game,
Uh,
and then the very beginning of that game is just a jaw dropper.
yep.
You're hanging from that fucking train.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
No,
so like, yeah, that was absolutely amazing. Uncharted is one of my favorite series of all time right now.
yeah, definitely. I would say I would say two might be my favorite out of all of them. I think I might even like two more than four, which is crazy. But yeah. I mean I liked four because it was but two just kind of I guess the experience back then I was caught off guard, the graphics, everything, the cinematics kind of blew me away. So yeah, definitely. That
Yeah.
was a series. Another one I forgot to mention was Heavenly Sword. That was another one that I was in love with. I was
For
yeah,
PS3, yep.
yeah. And a lot back then they didn't even have trophies, none of that. So it's crazy because a few of those games that I've had back then, they didn't even have trophies back then. So you don't even I can't even show my trophies for those or beat them. They finally added trophies to Metal Gear in 2012. So and I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna go back and do all that all over again. I mean, I just
That's
might.
wild because you have a save that you beat it, right?
You know what? Um, I mean, I've had some wild, yellow lighted deaths on my PlayStation, so I don't
Uh-oh.
know. Yeah, man.
You
I
said it
beat
was
that
an
game back
internal
in
save and
2008.
I lost
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you're right. Like, cause back
It's
then they didn't have
corrupt.
cloud saves. You know what I mean? Like, it was no cloud saves back then. Cloud saves didn't start to PlayStation Plus. So yeah, there was no. Yeah, And I done went through several PlayStation 3s. Not about as many as Xboxes for real. Yeah.
Damn, you're one of the you're probably the only person to honestly come up here and say, "Yo, Xbox ain't the only one that had problems."
Yeah, PlayStation had the problems too, bro.
There's a reason they redid the PlayStation like 3 other times.
Yeah. It was safe when they came out with the 80 gig fats, the ones that didn't have the silver trays. When they came with the silver trays, you was cool. You wasn't getting the yellow light of death. But the silver joints, we talking these? Let me show you. Can I turn this camera? I can't even turn the camera. I got a silver one right there.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
Those was the ones that kept dying on me. I actually kept that one though. I got the original one that I got. I never gave that up, but I ended up getting some more because I always wanted me a backwards compatible one. Matter of fact, I actually just sold one to Hustle and Motivate because I had several. Because them joints are break. Yeah, them joints break on you like the 360.
Yeah. I'm just surprised that somebody's actually came here and said, "Yo, 360 wasn't the only one having issues back then." Because you're so right. You're, like when you say that, that kind of gives me like a flash back to my childhood of remembering. Yeah, I had some friends that had some door stops, some real big door stops. Whether it was the Xbox, the PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 3 was probably one of the best looking consoles during that time period, in my opinion. I never owned, like I said, I didn't own one until recently because I was all Xbox at that time. But but I couldn't deny when I went over somebody's house, I was like, man, that thing looked good. But then when they came out with the with the Slim, I was like, that doesn't look as good.
It looks cheap.
And then the Super Slim was like disrespectful.
Oh, it was. I hate that one. This dog shit trash. I hated that one. It's funny. I never had that one. I never wanted it. I never wanted that ugly system. It's so cheap and yeah.
Bro, that PlayStation 3 Super Slim reminded me of the PlayStation 1, like the PlayStation 1's, those super small ones.
Oh yeah.
Like when I seen those old school PlayStations and I seen those PS3 Super Slims, I was just like, dude, I just can't have that on my stand.
Yeah, it's ugly.
I can't have that on my stand. That says like I know I'm not rich, but I don't want somebody to come over and see that and say this dude is struggling. Because those consoles look like you were in the struggle right there. You just needed something to play.
Yeah. Something to play, right.
Oh man. But all right, so those two were hot. Did you even mess with the Wii during that time?
With my kids. I did have one and I played with my kids. So it was a Wii bowling and the Wii sports and all that. And I had Michael Jackson's experience. I played that with my kids. But yeah, that was strictly me and my kids' system for sure.
Okay. All right, cool. So now we're kind of getting close to the current generation, which I do have some questions to ask about the current stuff. But let's quickly just go over the Xbox One and PS4 just to kind of get it out of the way. Xbox One, did you even dabble with that?
I did. At the beginning of the generation.
This is when Xbox started disappointing you, huh?
Hell yeah. That's my hatred actually came alive at that time. It was the bridge between the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. So it was the part where when you had to pay to play online. So I didn't really have the issue with that necessarily. But when the paywall came between me and my Netflix, and I couldn't web browse and I couldn't do other things, that's when the hatred started. And then when they dropped the Xbox One announcement, and then it was throwing the TV and then the DRMs and all of that, I'm like, F that. I'm done with Xbox. I hate them. And it was on from there. But then what's crazy is that there were games that I wanted for the Xbox One. And I was fighting with myself like, man, should I buy it anyway? and eventually
What
I
were those
caved.
games?
On Xbox One. It was Quantum Break. That was one I was like, I gotta have that. I gotta have it. So Quantum Break, it was Titanfall, Quantum Break, Rise Son of Rome. Those were the games where I'm like, I need a Xbox One. I need it. And I was like, I gotta have it. And then eventually I did get them, and I played those games and I beat them. And then after that, it was like, what now? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what it
Because
was.
you're playing on your, I'm guessing you're playing all your third party stuff on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So then there really made there no reason for you to have that, because Xbox was fairly, I mean, other than like Forza and Gears and Halo, it seemed like they were just done caring a little bit. And as an Xbox fan, I felt that. And I'm being honest. It was just like, man, I love my Xbox. I love all the things that it can do. But the one thing it can't do is the main fucking reason I got this console. And that's to make, and that's to make some games. And that's kind of frustrating a little bit. But I still rocked with it till the end. I was rocking with it hard. I didn't have a PS3 or a PS4. I was only Xbox the entire time. But moving on. So the Xbox kind of pissed you off a little bit. Started your hatred during that time period for it. PlayStation. How did it start for you, and how did it finish?
PS4?
Yeah, PS4. I'm sorry.
Oh, slow. What carried me with the PS4 in the beginning was 2K. 2K14 and I would say Battlefield 4. And then after that, it's the trickling started. So it started off with a slow trickle. So you had 2014 came Infamous Second Son, loved that game. And then it went from there to Watch Dogs, I believe, loved that game. Then I guess that's when the game started kind of rolling in, like 2015, 2016, I'm thinking. Something like that. If that makes sense, yeah. I'm thinking back, man. I was like, 8, 9 years old. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, that was it was a really slow start for PlayStation for sure. To me, it was. I wasn't. Sure. I mean, I played NAC. It was all right. I never really messed with it, but the games that really had me was Infamous Second Son. Uncharted, of course.
You didn't like Killzone?
Not really. I mean, it was okay. I was kind of caught up with the graphics, and that was cool, but I wasn't really big on Killzone. I think a lot of that had to do with me being so heavy in the Call of Duty. So it was kind of, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, when you're heavy in one one like shooter game, everything else kind of takes a back seat. Not that it's terrible or anything. Right. It's just not for you. But from what I hear from a lot of people is Shadowfall Killzone for PS4 was probably the worst one.
That's what I heard of too. Them all. Yeah. Now the campaign, a little bit of the campaign that I did play, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it just, when you playing something like Call of Duty, it just changes everything. And Battlefield. I mean, you got buildings falling, planes crashing, helicopters dropping, explosions everywhere. You wasn't getting that in Killzone, so it's not the same, you know.
Yeah, it felt like Killzone, but a lesser version. It felt like Battlefield, but a lesser version.
Yeah, like a watered down, not as much. That's how I seen it. Now, I'm not saying it was bad or boring or anything. It's just, for some reason, when you get injected with all of this action and explosion, and then you go to Killzone, it's not like that. It's just, that's kind of, pretty much kind of like Halo to me. Halo was pretty similar, like Halo and Killzone to me.
I mean, you ain't lying, because Killzone was supposed to be the Halo killer. So
yeah.
So yeah, I see what you're saying with that. But now we are on to the current generation, and then we're gonna get into some of the, I'd say, quick hitter quick hitter questions before we get up out of here. So the current generation, you had just got done talking about, like Call of Duty and whatnot. So I'm wondering where your head's at seeing all this news as of lately about Call of Duty, Activision, Xbox, PlayStation mad, Xbox frustrated, playing too nice. Like where do you kind of stand on that topic? Not only like whether you think it should go through or not, but like how do you think the companies are handling this situation?
That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know, because I think they're both fighting over it. I think they're both acting desperate over it. I think PlayStation is pretty desperate over this whole Activision deal. Xbox is too. I think there's a lot riding on this deal, and that's the reason why they're acting like that. You know what I mean? As far as the acting desperate for it, so to speak. So I can definitely understand why, because it brings a ton of value to whichever company. But yeah, man.
Their opinions aside, though, how do you feel about this deal? Do you want it? Do you want it to go through? Do you not want it to go through? Where are you at?
It don't really make much of a difference.
That's crazy because a lot of PlayStation fans say that. They're like, feels a win-win in my situation. That's what a lot of PlayStation fans feel. It's like, if Xbox takes it, then PlayStation got to try harder. And I like that.
I mean, I didn't look at it from that standpoint, but yeah, that's one aspect of it. And then, it's just, it's not that big of a deal. You know what really makes it a big deal to me is when I see the Xbox guys wanting the deal to go through. So that fuels me to not want it to happen, because it's like I want it to not happen. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want it to happen. I want it to happen. I'm a hater.
This man showed up at a Chiefs game and said, "I want the Chiefs to lose," and looked at everybody. I said, "I'm talking to all y'all motherfuckers. I know this is y'all stadium and y'all's game, but I came to watch y'all lose, and I don't even care who's going first, y'all. I don't care who it is. I just want y'all to lose."
Right. Right. That's it.
That's so disrespectful.
Like, all right. Yeah, like this is crazy. I get it. Like I get it. Like if it was just up for grabs, right? And Xbox never had it, and then they were going to get it, right? Then I get it. Like if Xbox never had Call of Duty, but they can get Call of Duty, I get it. But if they already had Call of Duty over there, it's like, why do you give a shit? You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. Like, why do you care? It's like, you got Call of Duty already. And people say, oh, it's Game Pass, but I don't think that is, because I don't think that would make a difference. To me, I don't. I think that people, if they want something, they're going to do whatever to get it. It's not, you know what I'm saying?
You know why I want the deal to go through?
Why?
Because I want even less excuses to be available for Xbox.
Interesting. That's an interesting take. I mean, hell, you say it like that. Maybe I want that too. Maybe I want.
But you see what I'm saying, right? It's just like every time people have an excuse as to why this didn't happen. Oh, they didn't show up to the Game Awards. It's not a big deal. They don't have to. And it's like, I don't want to hear that shit. Yeah. That like in my opinion, that's cat.
Yeah.
Like you want to see your console on one of the biggest stages anytime there's a stage.
Right.
So when PlayStation doesn't show up to E3, PlayStation fans are salty about it. Yeah. Because they want to see something. There are people that are going to say, oh, PlayStation doesn't need that. They have state of plays and all that stuff, which is true. I mean, technically, sure, they may not need it. Technically, Xbox doesn't need to be on at the Game Awards. But why wouldn't you want to see your team in the Super Bowl? Why wouldn't you want to see your team at the World Cup?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You want to see them on the most prime stage. You want to get up and clap for them. I don't want to go to the Game Awards and no disrespect to PlayStation or Nintendo or anything, but if I were to sit in the chair, I'm expecting to see games from the console that I bought that I give a damn about the most on stage. I don't want to see party animals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, that's where I'm at on the deal. I want it to go through. So later on, when they say, oh, we had to delay this or that, it's like, yo, you got 30 other studios. The fuck y'all doing over there? There ain't no excuses anymore.
Right.
Raw, live, and uncut. Right. Like letting them know how I feel about it.
To be honest with you, I feel like that's how it should have been in the first place. I mean, man, when did they acquire all those other studios? Was that 2017? That was around the Xbox One drop.
Like Obsidian and whatnot.
Yeah. And I'm like, shit. They still ain't put out nothing since then. So it's kind of like, man, like, as a fan, or let me get this out the way. In order for me to give Xbox so much energy, regardless of what it is, I gotta care about it. I gotta like it. I gotta love it. That's like your girlfriend cheat on you or leave you. You in your feelings about it, but you still talk about it every day. It's kind of like in that same kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's like the exact same thing, but shit, if I didn't give a care about it, I just won't say nothing about it. But I honestly care because I invested years into it.
See, this was one of the lines he told me on Twitter that had me actually be like, all right, this dude isn't that wild. He said, if I didn't care about it whatsoever, I'd have no reason to speak about it. But seeing that he has what I said at the beginning of this show, history, he has history with these things. He's seen the ups, downs, and mids. This is a down for him right now. For him. For me, it's like, I'm not really sure where, I mean, because this doesn't all depend on the deal for me. Like a lot of people are really holding on to this deal. Like this needs to go through. For me, it's just like, no, I just need to see some games.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Like the deal would be dope, in my opinion. It'd be dope because, like I said, then they'd have no excuse. But all in all, I want you to show me that you're prepared whether this deal goes through or not. Show me your preparation by bringing me the games. And I mean, y'all can be in court for this for the next 3 years. Hell, if that actually does happen, fine. But y'all better be producing while that's happening. Let's not pretend y'all don't have 20 plus studios right now.
That's what I've been screaming. Because honestly, it shouldn't even make a difference, right? It shouldn't even make it. The Activision deal shouldn't make a difference since they got all of these other studios in the first place. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't make a difference to anybody, right?
Not for console gaming, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe the Activision deal, in my opinion, will probably boost up more. And this is just my opinion. I could be wrong. I can be fucked when I'm talking about this. But in my opinion, other than the IPs that Activision has, this deal is more or less for mobile and for like PC gaming and whatnot. To me, because the Blizzard, the Blizzard, the Activision Blizzard, what is it called, launcher and stuff like that, isn't too bad. It's not that bad. To be able to merge that with the Xbox launcher would be massive, and to be able to have all that talent from Blizzard to be able to help out Xbox, which is up and coming with the launcher, it hasn't always been good. It's just now starting to be consistent. To get that team over there would be a big deal. And also, obviously, in the mobile side, because, I mean, nobody can deny Call of Duty mobile or Candy Crush and all those other, games from King and whatnot. Nobody can deny that. But when it comes to console games, I agree with you in the sense that this Activision Blizzard deal shouldn't stifle you from coming out with games on console. Maybe it stifles your mobile and PC a little bit. Yeah. But for these consoles and whatnot, these devs already have it in their hands. This isn't new technology. They've been working on it for the last couple of years. So y'all need to start delivering stuff to keep me entertained. I mean, I'm always gonna have my love for Xbox, but whether I have time for it is a different thing. If you don't give me any games, and how am I going to have time for it? I mean, Game Pass is cool and all, but I don't want that to be why I own a console.
Gotcha. You want the games to draw you, right?
Well, yeah, I want to be able to, I have a lot of games that I purchased and whatnot, and I really enjoy Game Pass because it gives me that deal, gives me that Microsoft reward points and stuff like that. But all in all, I don't want to rely on Game Pass to play a video game. I want the option to be able to purchase it, and I don't want the option to purchase third-party games. I can purchase a third-party game anywhere. I want the option to buy something that I can't get anywhere else.
That adds the value to your investment.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Right. And I really think people need to be a little bit more honest with themselves with that piece, because I don't know anybody that bought a console strictly for Game Pass. I don't know anybody that did.
Right.
So let's stop touting Game Pass like it is the reason to have an Xbox, because it's not. I mean, Xbox wants you to think that, but in my opinion, it's just not, because I'm not going to trust I don't trust Netflix. You know what I do with Netflix? I see the shows that I want and cancel it.
Yeah.
I do the same thing with HBO. I actually have HBO canceled. I just canceled it like 2 months ago. I'll add it back for The Last of Us and then cancel it right when that's over. I did the same thing with Halo. I got Paramount, watched the Halo show, canceled it right when I was done.
Exactly.
And I don't want Game Pass to be the only way I can really get into games on my Xbox. So far, luckily, they have really good backwards compatibility. So I've been buying a lot of old school games on there, and that's dope. That's one thing I really need PlayStation to get figured out. They came in way too fucking late on the game. Backwards compatibility after you launch the console? Like, what the fuck? Y'all make a team after you launch the console? What y'all doing? So, I mean...
I ain't no to that either. They was doing that stuff back in the 360 days.
Facts.
Yeah, and I find it really impressive. There are some games that you could run on the original Xbox games that you could put on the 360 that look phenomenal. The same stuff they doing with the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X when it come to backwards compatibility, they were doing it on the 360. It's just, for some reason, well, I guess there was a lot more focus on it back then, but yeah, I've run games on there and it looks phenomenal. They upscale it, everything. Oh yeah. That new Max Payne or that Max Payne. It's not new. The original Max Payne from Remedy. Yeah,
I can throw that into my Series X right now. From the original X. I wish I could throw Space Jam from my original PlayStation into my PS5. I wish I could do that, but you can't. And that goes for PlayStation as well. I talked all that shit about Game Pass. It goes for PlayStation as well. I don't want to play a PlayStation 2 game streamed.
Right.
I want that to be downloaded natively. I want to be able to pull out one of the hundreds of games that I got and just throw it in the fucking console. I already own this shit.
Right.
Anyways.
I'm not services anyway. That's another story. I don't care about PS Plus or I'll tinker around with it, but yeah. And I'm not big on digital distribution either. I'd rather buy my games disc version. It's another story too, but
you so classic with it.
For real.
All right, so now we're gonna go on to our kind of speed round so we can start working on getting out of here, because we've been doing this for a little over an hour and a half as of right now. So I want to know, through all of that stuff that you just got done telling me about gaming, your history, what your thoughts were during these console generations throughout your life, I want to know how it's kind of helped shape you into the person that you are today.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like that question. I guess going through all of these different experiences and seeing what it's kind of like seeing what I think Xbox can do, but they ain't doing it, and that's what kind of got me doing the stuff that I'm doing, and then on top of I'm getting I'm getting what I want from PlayStation. So it kind of like adds to the fire. So it's almost like it definitely is like I praise PlayStation and then I trash Xbox, but it's not really coming from a bad place. As a lot of people might think it is. It's not coming from a bad place, if that makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, sitting here listening to this conversation and having it with you, it makes a lot more sense than it did before.
Sure. Well, I appreciate it.
I mean, I understood I understood enough for it not to bother me, right?
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
now I have clarity behind it to where it's like I agree
Mhm.
with a good portion of what you're saying. I don't agree with every single thing because, I mean, that's just wild to do as a person. You shouldn't just completely just lay down and agree with anybody completely.
Right.
But for the most part, I hear what you're saying. I hear your discrepancies, and it's not like it doesn't make sense
Okay.
to me.
I like
It makes sense in the sense that, hey, I got used to the way that you were doing things and you ran in a completely different direction. And
That's it.
I don't like that direction.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Damn. That's it right
it's
there,
not
bro.
difficult. It's simple.
Damn. That's it right there. And honestly, I don't even think Xbox really want to go in the direction. I think that in order to stay competitive, they did these things. I really think that they wanted to stay traditional. It's just that a lot of the mistakes they made during the Xbox One, you know, it's like they still paying for that. And I really think that if they hadn't came out with those announcements in 2013 and turned people away like they did, they wouldn't be in that position they're in now where it's the Game Pass and fighting for the studios. And I don't think it would have been. I don't think it would have turned out like this. I really don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong, but
Well, they kind of did what Sega did. They were innovative to a detriment.
Yeah, that's it.
So, like Sega, obviously, their innovation and also not only the innovation, but also the communication in between US and Japan was terrible.
It sure was.
So you look at Xbox nowadays, their communication to the people are kind of like Japan and USA a little bit. But so, because it's like, what do you mean? You said what you said, but it seems like a secret. Everything that you say seems like a secret. Like there's something hidden that I didn't read here, and we have to decipher it. We have to look at, Phil Spencer's freaking ledge and stuff like that just to get freaking ideas of what's coming on in the future. And you just never know what the next step is a little bit. And then at the same time, yeah, I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's just, they took some weird steps and now they have to kind of backtrack it a little bit with distractions while they get things ready. I've told people in other like YouTube like chats and on Twitter and stuff like that, like Game Pass is the best distraction Xbox has ever made.
Yeah, that's a good play. Yeah.
I like Game Pass. Don't get me wrong. I love it, but it's a distraction.
Right.
When you're making all these games with 20 plus studios and you have nothing to give me right now.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with somebody? If somebody says, I got to see the doctor in 15 minutes, but I'm about to leave and I'm in charge of keeping them there. What am I going to do? I'm going to do some wild shit or have something set up for you to do to keep you busy so you stay for your appointment.
Right.
And that's essentially what Xbox is doing. I see it. It's obvious. I'm playing games that I would never play.
Yeah.
Why? Because I don't have anything else to play.
Right.
But why else am I doing that? Because I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Just kind of is what it is. I don't know what else to say about that. But anyways, so I asked you how gaming has helped you in the past. You told me a good amount of that, but now I want you, and I added this to my show for the first time last week. I'm gonna ask you to do the same thing. I want you to give some shout outs to some people that helped you become the person you are in the gaming content space.
That's what's up. Okay, yeah, I appreciate it. So you first and foremost, I appreciate it for giving me a platform. Or having me on your platform. Sick Humor TV, King Thrash, Porter Rock 77, all really good dudes, man. Heartache, good dude. Persona, Jay Bari, great dudes. I know it's like a lot of PlayStation guys, but man, it's those legit people, man. You know what I mean? Like really cool, down to earth, real people to me. You know what I mean?
Those are all guys that I disagree with constantly. I'm just keeping it real.
I believe it. But it's a lot, man. Otter Slayer podcast, great people, man. They got a podcast I try to check out every Saturday. Like I really do. I try to keep up and support everybody, especially the ones that supported me. I hold them down no matter what, man. For real, for real. They're really
That's
good
awesome.
people. Yeah, really. And it's crazy because I can't think of any Xbox guys that I really Snow Bunny. That's my home girl, for real. I don't know if you know her, but that's my home girl. Yeah, really great people. I can't if I forgot anybody, charge my head, not my heart. Cause honest to God, man, I'm very appreciative of everybody on that platform, bro. Really. On this platform that actually had me on their show or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And a song with them, like all kinds of stuff. Really good, genuine people. And I know, yeah, we might disagree a lot, but if you separate that and you look at the person, right? They really amazing people. I think you said that before we went on air. Like people turn out to be really cool people, and they are. They really cool people, bro.
Well, I like to think of it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're a Raiders fan. Like I'm just saying. Like let's say you're a Raiders fan. You show up at the Chiefs game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're booing the Chiefs the whole time. Fuck the Chiefs. Blah 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 blah. You're sitting next to all these people. Fuck the Chiefs. All this stuff. But what are you doing? What is that Chiefs person doing? Y'all are sitting at the game.
Right.
The end of the day, you guys are enjoying the exact same thing. You just don't think the same way.
Right.
That right there is powerful to me. How you go about that is your own business. Right. But at the end of the day, y'all are fans of the exact same fucking thing.
True.
So personal shit, like personal attacks and whatnot, are not warranted.
Right. I agree. You should, bro. I should show you my inbox on my PlayStation. You wouldn't believe the words that people will stalk my PSN and go on my inbox. I screenshot the shit and DM you. Crazy shit, bro.
I thought you couldn't say certain bad words on PlayStation. I know I can't send it on Twitter. I tried to say butt kicked, and it wouldn't let me send it to Twitter.
That's crazy because I got away with a lot of shit, and I've said some stuff way worse than that, and I don't know how. But you know what? I think that people have to report it. So, like with PlayStation, people had to report it. I mean, I had to report it in order for it to get. If it would sit there if I don't report it. So maybe that's what it is.
I don't know what it is. I think it might be me sending it off to another platform. It's not going to let me say any words that are technically like, because I tried to say bastard, then I was like, all right, it won't let me say bastard. How about I say butt kicked? And it was like, nope, I can't say butt kicked. And then I tried to spell. Then I was like, I kicked the turd out of him, and I was like, nope, you can't say that either. And I was like, Jesus, like what the fuck can I say? I was like, I handled this person.
Yeah.
Well, and then it let me say, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. I'm done with this shit. But I'm guessing chats in between one person to another, they're not gonna like stop your language.
Could be. But
Something like
it's
that.
funny though.
It probably should in some aspects.
Right, yeah. Yeah. I guess I will hope that, because I would hate to say the wrong thing talking to a homie and they ban me or something. So yeah. For sure.
All right. so dope. I really love having the shout out part because it kind of gives, people some time to reflect on, who helped them out, where they came from, what they did. Speaking of that real quick, I just want to ask like how you got into content creating in the first place.
Oh man, interesting story. So I actually was I don't know if you ever heard of this dude named Ryan Moody. He's a YouTube creator that does Madden videos. So I made a Madden video calling out Ryan Moody, but I didn't expect it to get to Ryan Moody. It was just me saying what I wanted to say. I forgot that when I upload videos, it automatically goes to Twitter. Somebody tap Ryan Moody like, hey, somebody made a video.
They
about
retweeted
you.
that shit.
Yeah, I got his attention. He started talking shit about me. It was like an online fight between me and Ryan Moody, and it got ridiculous. And then it went from there to, all right, I must have just speaking my mind on a bunch of stuff, and that's kind of like how it happened. So yeah, I've been wanting to do it because I'm like opinionated anyways, and I've been wanting to do YouTube.
You said your channel started from a sneak diss. Your channel started from a sneak diss.
You know what's funny? It wasn't even a sneak diss because I wasn't even dissing them. That's the crazy part. I wasn't even dissing them. It just turned into that. And the dude just went for my head, made a video about me, everything. Sent all his goons to my channel. It went crazy. And that's what set me on fire to just stay at it. Because I've been wanting to do it for a long time. That's what did it. Really. I wanted to talk about gaming and stuff for a long time. And I was actually supposed to do it with a buddy. And he was, twiddling his fingers. And I'm like, I'm going to just go in and do it. And it just so happened to be that Ryan Moody video I did that really kicked things off and turned it to 100 miles an hour. And that's just kind of what happened. Really, I swear.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy shit. Dude did a video about me, clowned me, everything. And it was on from there. It was on like Donkey Kong, bro.
That's wild.
Well, yeah.
That's an exciting way to get into content creating. I mean, you started out going 200 miles an hour from the jump.
I did.
All right. Throughout your content creating time, what would you say is probably the most memorable moment other than what you just said?
Yeah, because that definitely probably take the cake. I would probably say, oh man, most memorable. I would probably say if I had to choose one, it would probably be me doing that song with Sick Humor. That would probably be the most memorable moment.
Oh Lord, what was this song about?
PS5, of course.
Y'all lay down the track about PS5. Oh my goodness. Right. Did y'all make a music video taking it out to dinner and shit?
We should. Hey, you saw that video? Yeah, that's what I'm playing. That dude is hilarious, man. Oh man, no, but hey, that's a good idea. Gamer 23 could have got some ideas from him for sure. But no, it was definitely. If I had to choose one, it would probably be that for sure. That'd probably be the most memorable. Even though I got a lot of them, great interviews. This one of them, man. I ain't gonna lie, it was amazing. It's an amazing ride. You know what? I'll give you another one. This is another one. So I was actually in a battle. I was on Next Gen 720's channel, and I was doing a battle against I can't think of the dude's name right now. Double O Mello. You ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
So it was me and Double O Mello, and we about to get into this debate. He do these PlayStation versus Xbox debates, right? And I was ready to go. But then Porter Rock hit me on the inbox, like, look, this is what you're supposed to do. This. Like, called on the phone and everything. So I guess his pep talk or him trying to prep me, and it kind of it threw me off. And not to down, like I ain't, not trash Poro, I guess my boy, but I lost all focus on what I wanted to do and try to follow what he was doing. I mean, with his advice. And when I did that, I'm telling you, it threw me completely off. And Double O Mello ripped me apart. And there was so many. Yeah, he ripped me apart, bro. Pull my ass up. And I'm like, damn, it was so. And then when I look back at the damn video, when I look back at him, I'm like, damn, I could have got him here. I could have got him here. Lost the debate, man.
He said one of the most memorable moments was taking the L on somebody else's channel.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you're humble enough to bring that up, because that is something that a lot of people would be wanting to sweep under the rug and forget about. But you came outside to let everybody know, hey man, I got fucked up.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Oh man. Yeah. That might be Behind Them Sticks' very first L recorded on video. All right, so now I need to know. We only have a few more questions left, and with one of them being, what are the best 3 games that you played this year?
Okay,
and it doesn't have to be games at launch this year.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's what's up. Definitely Horizon, even though I didn't finish that one. I'm loving that game. So that's one. The second best one. Oh man. I don't want to say God of War just yet because I really ain't digging into it. I like it, but
what's holding you back from digging into God of War? Like, I beat that game as soon as I got it, bro.
Did you beat it? Really?
Yeah, I beat it on Give Me No Mercy because it doesn't let you do God of War right from the jump.
Damn, okay.
Beat it on that, and then I turned down the difficulty to normal and 100% of the rest of it.
Dope. Okay, that's what's up. So no, I guess because I keep playing the other games, and I do that a lot. So I always jump from game to game like that, and then it don't help that I got a buddy to come over. And we play Madden a lot. So that does it too. Madden and 2K a lot. That do it a lot. So I think that's probably why I haven't gotten through it yet. It's because I'm jumping in. And then the new game, like Callisto Protocol, I forgot. I'm playing that one. So I
you like that game?
I like it. And I think it's because of maybe it's the graphics and the I like it.
I stand with BG.
Yeah. And he got a good point. It's very fair. I'm not going to.
One of the very few times I stand with BG, it's going to be on Callisto Protocol because it was just like this game. I mean, kind of like what I said about Uncharted 1. Yeah. It's a very good base.
Right.
Callisto Protocol, I think, is a very good base, but I think they could have did so much more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the combat I don't like it. I mean, okay, I like it because it's kind of gory and you could kind of feel the weight of the hitting.
Oh, but yeah, that's nice.
Used to it. Yeah.
That baton is nice. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you could feel it like, damn, he really smacked the shit out of my with that whatever. But it's just basic. The controls are so basic. And then it's just, it's hard to explain it, but it's kind of annoying, especially when you get like multiple people coming at you. It's kind of annoying. So, yeah.
There ain't no way to turn around.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're attacking somebody in front of you, how are you going to hurry up and dodge the person that you can see swinging at you? Exactly. For a third person game, I thought that was a huge miss because I can see the person hitting me and I know what's about to happen, but I can do nothing about it.
Yeah. Exactly. That's my biggest gripe, really.
I almost have to be standing like with a corner behind me so I know no one can come up behind me and just attack forward and grip and throw people away from me and, keep doing all that joint. But yeah, if they had like a quick turnaround button or like an actual button that's for dodging that maybe recharges.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you can get out of this situation, but don't put yourself right back into it right away, or else you can't get out.
Right.
Like one roll every like 30 seconds would be great.
Throw a roll in there.
Just one roll, bruh.
But,
Just one roll would be nice.
Right. Not that basic wait till he swing and then dodge. It's yeah, the controls, yeah, that sucks.
After about the fourth or fifth dodge, it's like, all right, this is getting old. Die.
Yeah.
Just die.
Yep. It has 100 hits to kill him. Like shit. Like what is that? Yeah, that's another.
Oh yeah, when you run out of ammo, it gets real. It starts to feel a little generic after you run out of ammo. But so you listed Horizon. What else?
Callisto Protocol.
Okay, that's 2.
Need for Speed.
Unbound.
About the best game. The best game.
Best games, yeah.
I would say right now is man. The best games I played this year so far would probably be Horizon. Definitely Horizon, I should say. Gran Turismo 7. And I guess if I had to choose the third, it would be God of War. Because God of War.
Well, remember, these games don't have to have come out this year.
Okay.
So is that the best 3 games that you played this year?
I would say that, yeah.
Okay,
Guardians of the Galaxy, I like it, but it's not as fun as God of War. So yeah, I'm playing Guardians of the Galaxy right now.
Great story.
You know what? Shit. Luigi's Mansion, bro. Let me replace.
Oh, it snuck in.
Yeah. Let me replace God of War right now with Luigi's Mansion.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know some people that might watch this in the future might be disappointed in here. Luigi's Mansion took over God of War.
Brothers with that one, but I'm just keeping it a buck, man. You know.
Hey, you do you. That's who makes you, right? But
I'm gonna do me. I'm definitely gonna do me, bro.
But what game are you most excited for this? Or I need to change this question to plural.
Okay.
What games are you excited for 2023 and beyond?
Okay. Good question.
I want this to be any console. I know you love your PlayStation, but I'm actually going to put a stipulation on this. I want to hear what Xbox game you're excited for.
Damn.
2023 and beyond. Let's go.
Because I don't know. Oh no. There's literally nothing. I don't see. Help me out here. Give me something that you think that I would probably like, given what I told you. That I might consider. Like, hey, I would.
Doesn't sound like you play that many RPGs.
I don't. I'm not. I mean, I do, but not lately. I haven't. Give me one. Which one is?
I think Redfall might surprise you.
Redfall. That's the first-person shooter with the Draculas, right?
With the vampires and shit like that. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think that might surprise you. I don't think that will be like a seller for you to like. Do you have a series console right now?
I don't. This is the first generation I've not bought a Xbox. Literally the first gen.
Okay, I think Redfall might surprise you, but I don't think it'll be a reason for you to run out and get a console.
Okay.
I think maybe a reason for you to run out and get a console might be something like, I mean, if you have a PC, you might just play it there anyways too. I'm not sure what your setup's like, but maybe like Hellblade.
Yeah.
Third person kind of game, good story.
I would.
That bitch is crazy.
I didn't really play the first one. I tinkered with the first one and I didn't really do nothing with that one. But it do look good. And if it is what I think it is, definitely. Like if it is what it looked like it is, because it looks amazing, it would probably be that, what you just said, for sure.
Right now, the only thing I got off the top of my head is Hellblade. I know there's a bunch of other things that I could list off, but you asked me what I think you would be interested in. And I think that is the first one that comes to mind just for the style of game. If you like Uncharted, then I feel like you might like something like Hellblade just because of the type of game, not because of the story, but
Right.
because of the type of game, third person, a whole lot of story going on.
Yeah.
You're kind of getting to know the character a lot more.
Yeah.
I felt very similar with how I, felt with learning about my character as, I don't know, like Uncharted. Like I felt like, all right, I am Nathan Drake. When I played Hellblade, I felt like I'm this crazy bitch. I'm Senua.
Okay.
She's lost her mind, and so have I.
Yeah. I like.
So I was thinking maybe that might loosen you up to it. Matt Likes Games in the chat just said Compulsion game is supposed to be a third-person fantasy game based in Southern lore, which sounds wild. Which sounds wild as hell. Yeah. So that would be something that's interesting. I'm not sure. You know Compulsion? They came out with. Okay. So yeah, you already know who they are. So yeah. I mean,
it sounds.
I think there will be some games, but I don't think. If I was to predict when Rome gets a Xbox, it probably wouldn't be until mid 2024.
That's fair. I would probably say that too, because all it takes is one game, and I would definitely be like, I gotta experience this, so I would buy a whole Xbox straight up if there was a game that made me, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And I can already see it now. Rome likes this game, or else Xbox is trash. I can see it now. I can see it now. Nah, man. But anyways, bruh, let's see. What would be 2 games that you would revive and bring back that are dead IPs right now?
Well, one is Splinter Cell for sure.
Okay, well that's kind of being remade, or like it has a remake coming out from Ubisoft right now. I thought they announced that, right?
Did they? I don't know. I didn't hear nothing about that.
I'm not sure if it got tabled again or not, but I'm pretty sure that they're working on a remake for that. So you might have your wish coming for that one, but think of one more.
Dead franchise that I would like to see return. I would like to see that. It's crazy too, because I missed out on a couple of those. I wouldn't mind seeing a new. Well, nah, because that's ain't nothing came. Man, I can't.
Okay, somebody in the chat, Matt says right here. He said Splinter Cell is getting a remake.
Is it?
Yeah.
Answer. Okay. I wouldn't think about it. I did hear it was getting a remake. The original Splinter Cell was getting a remake.
Now that's a question that I need answered, Matt. If you can remember, is it the original one or is it like the last one?
Or like a whole new, version of Splinter Cell.
I'd like them to go from. I'd like them. And this might not be something that's loved to hear from other people, but I'd like them to go from where they left off and continue, because what I don't like is what like EA's doing and what Naughty Dog did, and they kind of put themselves in the spot to where it's like, well, we remade that. Should we keep remaking, or should we? I want them to be like, yo, this is the remake of the last game, just so you can get back into the flow of it, and then we're gonna continue on so you have fresh new shit instead of just old all the way up to new.
Damn, I wish I could think of the other one, but I can't really think of anything that.
Oh, Rel comes through and says Conquer, Def Jam, Fight for New York, Jack and Daxter. He came out shooting.
Conquer was my Def Jam. I still got the old Def Jams. I still got Def Jam Vendetta, and man, I got so many old games you wouldn't believe it, but I still got my Def Jam. Hold on, let me get it.
Yeah, I got Fight for New York. I don't have Vendetta.
You don't? Okay, I got them both. See, I got Vendetta right here. Vendetta right here. Yeah, and I got to fight for New York. This game is worth like $200 now.
It went up again?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I haven't checked in a while, but the last time I checked, it was over $200. Excuse me.
Let's go. I'm happy I own that joint then.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Because I copped mine for like 70.
Okay.
And I was like, damn, like I didn't want to do it, but I did it.
Yep.
And I ain't mad now.
That ain't bad.
Yeah, ain't $200.
Shit,
that's like 3 times the price.
I was going through my old PlayStation list, right, on the games that I downloaded, and one of them was the Def Jam Fight for New York for the Vita. I mean, for the PSP. I couldn't believe it. Blew my fucking mind. Like, I bought this? I couldn't even believe it. And I re-downloaded it and everything and put it on my Vita.
That's legendary right there. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Because you can play PlayStation game, Vita games on the PS Vita. I mean the PSP games on the PlayStation Vita. And so when I went through my, you can go through your downloaded list on your PS3, and I went through my downloaded list and I saw that I purchased that shit. And
Can't you plug that up to the console and launch it to the screen?
Huh?
Can't you plug it into the console and launch it to the screen?
You know what? I think you can. I don't know if there's a device that you could. I know that you can get the what was that? The Vita TV or whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation TV that would run the Vita games. I know you could do that, and I could have put that on the Vita TV and play it on the screen. But I don't know if I could do that with the Vita. I probably can though.
You might be able to. That'd be interesting to plug that into your PS3 and launch it onto the screen. That'd be pretty dope. Because then what you could do is, like I'm not sure if you have a computer or whatnot, but then you could run it through a capture card and capture some of the stuff.
Oh yeah, I do. I got a PC, so that will be fire.
Yeah, that would be dope. Just to show people, like, yo, look what I'm fucking with still from way back when. That'd be pretty dope. But moving on to the last 2 questions. I got to know, first of all, what frustrates Rome about gaming in a whole. So anything, it could be any facet that has to do with gaming. What pisses you off about it?
I would probably say the community pisses me off because I think there is a lot of disingenuous people in the community. There's genuine people, but the ones that's disingenuous is the ones that really gets under my skin the most. Out of all the gaming, if we talking just gaming, period, or you talking about just gaming, the industry? I should have asked that first.
I'm talking about, so you can like if it's the community that you don't like then that's that.
Yeah, I would say the community in general. There's a lot of fake. Yeah. It's a lot.
Go ahead and say it like Cozy Beluga always says it. Fake gamers.
That too.
She always says fake gamers.
And that's so tough to say because, man, it's so tough because it's hard to call somebody a fake gamer. And
the reason why, and it seems so disrespectful.
I
said, and it seems very disrespectful to say that.
You don't know like what their gaming habits are. And so they might. So I guess you could say the ones who say they beat this game or played this game but never played it. Right. I would say those people. The ones who say they played this game or beat this game and they didn't. The liars. Yeah. The liars. Yeah, I would call them fake gamers because they lying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that, and you hear that in like spaces and stuff like that all the time. Somebody will come up and tell their like sob story of why they hate a game, and then like Persona or somebody TZ or somebody will come out of nowhere and be like, well, like how many hours you got in the game, and they'll be like 2. They'll be like 2 hours, or I never played it, but, and it's like, like, why did you ask to speak? because you don't know anything about this.
Exactly.
I see where you're coming from with that. I mean, that is annoying. But at the same time, it's just like you want to be kind enough to give everybody their voice to say stuff. It's just like once you come out and like utterly disrespect a game that you didn't play, that's when it starts to become pretty out of pocket and whatnot. But on the flip side of that, I want to know what's a dream come true for you in gaming.
Dream come true. I would probably say if there was a dream come true. Yes, people being honest, maybe. I would probably say that. Or well,
I wouldn't say that because you never know.
Yeah, you don't
You never know.
A dream. You know what? A dream come true would be if, and this is a ridiculous dream, but I would say
go for it.
If they focus more on physical games than digital games and try not to erase or eradicate, physical distribution.
So in other words, you're saying I want physical games of everything to still be available and have that sense of when back in the day when you walked into Best Buy and you're like, man, this is the only place I can get these like this assortment and like I just remember as that feeling that you got whether you walked into Best Buy or it'd be a Blockbuster or something like that and you just see games just everywhere and you're just like, man, there's just so much and so many different prices that I can be the judgment of whether I want something. And then when I walk home and if this game is dog shit, I can at least display it.
Yeah.
I can at least like put it on display and say, hey, I own this game. But I see what you're saying about like the digital aspect. Cause like when you buy a dog shit game digital, you feel like you got extra ripped off.
Yeah.
Like not only do I own this and hate it, but I'm probably never going to see it again. I'm like literally like never probably going to see this again in my library. I'm going to scroll right past it every single time compared to some of these Sega games that I have that I don't like. I can at least look at it and be like, this art on here is pretty nice. Or I'm going to display this or I can show somebody right here on stream that I got it. I can tell them that I don't like it, but I can tell them, hey, look, I got that. But if you show like, hey, I got a digital picture to show you of a game I own, you're like, where'd you get that screenshot from, bud?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it too. Yeah,
because yeah, you look like you're fronting. Like, I'm not sure if you really own that. You might just be fronting.
Possessive individual. I like to own things. So I think that's the biggest thing. And I do have a fear. And I shouldn't. I mean, I'm not going to be here forever. We all got a day, but it's just I want the physical games to always be here, and I feel like we are headed in that direction, and we're getting there faster and faster. Where we want like PlayStation 6 and the latest Xbox. It won't be a physical option. It will just be digital options. You know what I mean? And Lord forbid I get my account banned and all of those games that I purchased, I can't get anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, not only that, Rome, but remember the excitement that you used to get sitting at midnight to wait for a game with a gang of people that you don't know. It was literally like tailgating. It was tailgating. You're sitting there like, I mean, you can have your brown paper bag with you and you're doing your thing. You stand in line and don't nobody give a damn about what you doing as long as you ain't hurting or disrespecting them. You go in and get the game. People, at the Halo launches got the swords in hand, Call of Duty, people got the masks and I mean, ain't nobody showing up with guns, hopefully. But but all in all, it's just like the celebration behind it, the feeling of getting a material in your hand, handing over the cash for it, and walking out smiling just like everybody else around you and saying, I'm taking this home and fucking shit up right now compared to hitting A or X on your console to say download.
Yeah.
Or purchase. It's just boring.
Yeah.
It's not as exciting.
I like how you broke that down because I think a lot of that you said goes unappreciated, and it's that aspect. It's like, yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing experience. So shit, yeah, definitely.
Bruh, I'm saying like the excitement from that stuff is something that that the kids of today will never get.
Never understand it. Yep.
They'll never get it. But anyways, that's pretty much the gist of the show. Thank you so much, Mr. Rome, for coming on the show, strutting your stuff, keeping it real, saying what you had to say. Brother, I appreciate it a ton. I want you, for me, real quick, just to let everybody know one last time where they can find you, whether it's on a gaming platform or social media.
For sure. So follow me on Twitter, Rome Go Large. And YouTube is Rome Rush. That's my YouTube. And whatever I tell you, I'm speaking from the heart, bro. I'm keeping it 100, man. And it's all fun. That's all it is with me. It's all fun, man. For sure. And I appreciate you having me too, bro.
Absolutely. And if you didn't quite hear what he said, I do have his information in the description, so you guys can hit those links and whatnot. Hit that follow button or that subscribe button, whichever one. But on this current stream that you guys are watching, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, subscribe if you enjoyed this content this evening. Whether you're watching this now or later on after the fact, I appreciate each and every one of you guys that come on and check out what I got going on here. One last thing I want you to do for me, Rome, before we get out of the building is I want you to let everybody know what gaming is to you, like, or describe gaming, better yet, in just 3 words.
Oh, man. 3 words, gaming. I would say creativity, joy, and absolute fun, man. I know that's 4, but it's fun. Fun.
Creativity, joy, and fun with asterisks with absolute.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for coming through. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your 2022, which only is hours. And do the best that you can. Make sure you get them resolutions down packed on something that you can do. Don't give yourself something that you can't do. And remember, this is your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming signing off from the Behind Them Sticks show on the TSWS Gaming YouTube channel, saying keep it gaming or keep it moving. Peace out, y'all.
Later, y'all.
Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray. Come on. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you, if you could play it. Won't you take this with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it. Boosie, I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real.